What is up, guys? This is Kyurem from the Trinity of LIFT, and today I have a deck profile for you guys, and this is of my Geargia deck. Again, it's not really a top tier deck, but it's still a very fun deck to play, and it can be competitive if played right. So let's get right into it. So first off, we play 3 Geargia armor. Obviously you're searcher of the deck, and you have to pretty much run him at 3. Having a 1900 defense is pretty high, and there's not a lot of normal summonable monsters right now that can easily get over it. So usually when you set this guy, you usually would most likely get your search off. Next up, we play 3 Geargia Arsenal. We just want to get to our armors as quick as possible, and Arsenal really gets us to our armors because you can pretty much easily search out armor, which can then search out whatever else you need the next turn. So this really will help you get through your deck, as well as it also can kind of help you deck thin. So yeah, 3 Arsenal. And then next up, again, another pretty much staple 3 of any Geargia deck is 3 Geargia Accelerator. He helps you spam your rank 4s like there's no tomorrow. So again, you really have to run him at 3. Then for the last few Geargia monsters of the deck, we play 1 Augur and 1 Geargiano. You'll see later in the list that I don't personally run Geargia Gear, because frankly, it forces me to run some fairly inconsistent cards in the form of Mark II and Mark III plus the Geargiano. So in order to keep a little bit more consistency within the deck, I chose not to run it and just run the 1 Geargiano to help me recycle some of my Geargia monsters. As well as I only run 1 Augur, primarily because I find it that its effect is good, don't get me wrong. It's basically a better armor in the sense that it can search immediately on its summon. However, I do not like losing my battle phase during the late game, and sometimes I'd rather have an armor where I can still search. Sure, it might be 1 turn slower, but I can still get my search off and retain my battle phase, while Augur, you don't, obviously. It's a great first turn card, but outside of that, it really doesn't perform well, so I only like to have it at 1, just so I don't see it too late. So yeah, so that's the Geargia part, and for the next, it's just kind of support monsters for the Geargia deck. It helps kind of accelerate your plays and give you some more offense. So for the next 2 monsters, we play 2 Machina Fortress and 1 Machina Gear Frame. I'm running this mini Machina engine sort of to kind of give a little bit more aggression to the deck, because the Geargia deck can effectively spam rank 4s pretty easy, but at times you really don't have enough punching power. So by running the this little Machina engine, you're able to have rank 7 access in the deck, as well as if you, for some odd reason, don't have easy access to rank 4s, you can have Machina Fortress as a sort of pseudo rank 4, I should say, because you can use it in the sense that it can be a big beater on board when you need it. And like I said, it gives you the rank 7 access within the deck. For the final couple monsters, we play 2 Traptrix Myrmelio. This gives us a little bit of a control aspect within our deck. The trap holes are still a pretty viable trap nowadays, and having the Myrmelios is like another kind of good first turn card, as it helps keep opponents' decks running at your speed with your utilization of your trap holes, and having the Myrmelio to dig for them is pretty helpful. Also, having basically 2 pseudo MSTs also is pretty good. And then for the last monsters, we play 1 Tin Goldfish. It helps you accelerate your plays. It really helps you keep going with your combos with your rank 4 spamming. And although at times it can be dead if you don't really have another monster, you should usually have enough search power and consistency within the deck to always have this live. Plus, it's a machine. And then finally, we play the Run Redox, because pretty much everything in the deck besides Tin Goldfish is an Earth. So having the extra Monster Reborn effect and another level 7 for our rank 7 plays is also pretty helpful. So that's the monsters. Next up for the spells, we play 3 MST. You still really have to run MST now, especially since Cleave Forts are a thing and all that good stuff. So we really have to run 3 MST. It's pretty standard. Next up, we play 3 Upstart Goblin. 37 card deck. What more do I have to really say about that? Next up, for the last few spells, we just play 1 of them. We play 1 Soul Charge. This is a pretty good late game card. Primarily because it can help you establish boards that you otherwise really couldn't, as well as there's a lot of graveyard interaction with this deck, like being able to summon more of your rank 4s, or summon things like a Myrmelio or a Fortress or whatnot to really get yourself in an established board state is really helpful with this with Soul Charge. Next up, we play the 1 Book, because Book is a great card still. We play the 1 Lance because probably the biggest rank 4 we'll be spamming out usually is going to be Gear Gigan X. And sometimes we really would like to protect them for things like Raigeki or whatnot, so having the 1 Lance helps alleviate that issue. And then we do play the one Raigeki and then the one Snatch Steal. The big power spells right now, pretty much. And since this deck can really push for damage quite consistently, having these two cards to help push for that damage is very helpful. So that's it for the spells. For the last traps, we play 2 Call of the Haunted. Again, this really helps you continue your plays and really accelerates your rank 4 spamming. Next up, we play the 2 Trap Tricks Trap Hole and the 1 Bottomless. These are our Trap Tricks Mermelio targets after all. And they help, again, like I said, keep your opponent playing at the speed that you're playing at. Then we play the 1 Wiretap, the 1 Breakthrough, and the 1 Deprison. These are just kind of like problem-solving cards that help slow down your opponent, and I really don't want to see more of these because how you want to see your combo pieces more often than not. So just having these 3 are good enough for me, and it really helps me control my opponent when I need to. And then for the final big one-ups, we play the 1 Compulse, the 1 Torrential. I really wanted to cut this, but frankly, I figured that just because we do want to clear boards as often as we can, we really should want to play that 1 Torrential, and then finally the 1 Warning. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we do play, of course, 3 Geargia X. You will make this guy all the time. He floats to your 1 Geargiano whenever that happens, and he's a great card. You really will always be going into this, so you have to be running him at 3. Next up, we do play the 1 Daigusto Emerald because we blaze through our Gigants pretty darn quickly. We have the Emerald to help us recycle our Gigants just in case they get destroyed or whatnot. Because there will be times when you feel like you're running out of resources and then your deck really starts to slow down. So having the Emerald to help recycle some of your either main deck monsters or your Gigants is very helpful, and it can really keep you in the fight in drawn-out games. And then for the next rank 4s, we do play the 1 Castel, the 1 Honor Arc, just for stealing monsters, the 1 Exiton to nuke boards. I'm currently testing this out, the 1 Rhapsody, because frankly, I find that in the Burning Abyss matchup, taking out some of your opponent's graveyard targets so that they cannot float as effectively is fairly helpful. Plus, the secondary effect to make your Gigants sometimes at a 3.5k attack is pretty big. So that's why I have them in here for now. We do play the 1 Black Ship to help burn for game when needed. We do play the 1 Ragna Zero primarily for the Klee matchup, since, again, most of them, they'll be boosting their own attack by their Pendulum effect. So having that Ragna Zero to help take them out, plus getting us a free +1 is also pretty good in this deck. Next up, the 1 Utopia for basically when we have to stall out for a few turns. The 1 Heartland Draco to help us steal games. And then finally, for the last 3 extra deck monsters, we do play 3 rank 7s in the form of 1 number 74, 1 Big Eye, and 1 Draco Sack. So yeah, guys, that's my Geargia deck profile for this January 2015 format. Let me know what you guys think of the list down in the comment section below. And as always, like, favorite, subscribe. And this has been Kyurem from the Trinity of LIFT, and I'll see you guys later.